Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Kebaka Talks. Uh, Yesterday I saw this really great quote, and it said that what you're not changing, you're choosing, and it really stuck with me. It made me just, you know, realize so much stuff. Um, One of the things I thought about was like, you know, I mean, I've worked at a lot of places, and I remember particularly when I was working in this warehouse. There was there was this guy. He always complained. About the job. He complained. He was complaining about everything. And yet, you know, before I started to work there, I think he had been there like at least 10 years. And I started working there, and I think I worked there for maybe like, I think I was there for 5 or 6 months, something like that. And I don't know if you guys have worked in a warehouse before, but people, it's quite special people that work there. And one thing that most of them have in common is to complain, about the job, about, I mean, about anything. And yeah, it's it's very interesting because so many people, they complain about the job, but they don't do anything about it. So this guy, right? I was talking to some friends. He worked with a long time, and he used to tell them, oh, I'm gonna quit this job. I'm so tired of this job. Like my legs are hurting from driving this truck all day long. It's like this guy, like, he's was a big complainer, but most of them knew that he's not gonna go anywhere. you know and I think, and he's not special in that regard, because I've been to other places, and you know you'll like you'll always have that one guy, that, or even like a group, people that will always be like, I'm so fed up of this job. It sucks. It's like bad hours, they don't appreciate us, this, the other. But they've been working there for the past 15 years, and for the past 15 years they've been complaining. you know and it just makes me realize that as people, like, we like to complain. We're so, like, it's so easy to complain, because finding a solution is like, that's, then you have to actually do the work. And God forbid we have to, change our way of living. It's better to just complain. So I say that to say that, you know in this life, it's so many people that want to change their lives, so many people that want to do things differently, but people are so comfortable, like, the life they're living. So they rather just complain, and then when the weekend comes around, they'll just, go out and drink, party, and maybe do some drugs. And then, like, Sunday evening, they'll just dread for that, that they have to go back to work. And I'm not saying that I'm special. I used to be the same. I used to be the same. But this last 5 years, I would say, like, since the pandemic, I realized that, this life is too short to do things that, you know, does not fulfill you. So actually, right now, I'm working my last month at my job. And yeah, after that, I'm just gonna try to live true to myself. I'm gonna do some traveling. I'm also having I'm gonna as you guys know, I'm from I was born in Uganda. And I realized, I was there last year in July, and I realized that this life's too short. And I felt so good, like being with my being with my so-called tribe. This social life they have over there, it's like it's amazing. I would say that the social life, people live outside of Europe, it's that's how we're meant to live, like living a social life and actually, you know just taking care of each other, having a good time, you know but back to the topic of people complaining about about the jobs, about the life situations, about a relationship they're currently in right now, but they don't have the balls to to end the relationship. So it's like this is such a common thing, that I think most people have something to complain about, on a day-to-day basis, but they never take the time to actually sit down and just try to make some kind of game plan how they change, how they change that particular situation. And the thing is, like, I think, I know it's a cliche to say, but you know at the end of the day, like, if you keep doing things the way you've been doing them for the past, for the past 10 years, you'll end up getting the same results you've been getting, since forever. So, yeah, so when I heard this quote that, what you're not changing, you're choosing. So basically, you can complain we can complain how much we want, but at the end of the day, if we don't take actionable steps towards a life we want to live, then, we're choosing to live, in this, to be in this bad situation. And for me, that, I mean, I've always known this, but when I saw this quote, it was almost like, like something just, okay, just lit up. So, yeah, I say that to tell you guys that, please, like, if you're gonna complain about anything in this life, please try to have some kind of actionable steps, because complaining is like the easiest thing to do. Everyone can complain, but to actually sit down to find a solution. I mean, like, also, like, when you're at work, yeah, and then you have these work meetings. I hate work meetings. Most of the times it's just waste of fucking time. It's waste of fucking time. So you'll be in the meeting, maybe like 10 people, and like, you know all the people that come, like, they all have problems, right? And the thing is, like, for me, when I go to a meeting, I always have, okay, I'll have a problem, but I also have at least one or two solutions to the problem. But most people, when they show up, they only show up with, you know with the problem but no solutions. So a meeting that's supposed to take, like, at the most, like, maybe 45 minutes, an hour, it takes like 2 hours, and at the end of and at the end of the meeting, we, like, there's no solution. Even it's like even more more problems arises, so it takes actually, it takes mental capacity to try to come up with solutions to the problems you're facing. So I think that for everything you even think about complaining about, please try to think of at least two or three solutions to that problem. You know, otherwise, it's like your complaining is not valid. It's not. It's not. Yeah. So that was my message for today. Before you complain, please try to find at least two or three different solutions to the problem. I mean, sometimes it can be hard, but problems are there to get to be solved at the end of the day. So, yeah, if you ever have a colleague or someone, friend close to you, whoever, girlfriend, they're complaining about life or whatever, ask them, so what you're actually doing to improve, to and to change the situation. you know I always try to ask that, whenever I mean, obviously, I'm very good at giving advice. I can say that I'm good at giving advice, but one of the things that I hate is like people. I don't know if you guys have heard this, this saying that, people who are like, they call them for ask holes. So basically, like, they'll come to you for advice, and then you'll give them some proper relevant advice according to their problem, and they end up not doing anything that you've told them. Those are ask holes. And please don't be an ask hole. So ask for advice if you actually know that you're gonna at least try to implement some of those advices. Yeah. So please before you complain, make sure that you have some kind of solution to the problem. This is Jonah talking on Kabaka Talks. Hope you guys have a good evening. See you soon.